Hmm.
And boom, what's up, y'all? My name is Ian Edwards, and welcome to the Soccer Comic Rant. And we're going to talk FA Cup, and we're going to talk specifically Liverpool getting it handed to them at Old Trafford 4-3. Instant classic. That's all I got to say about that match. And I would have been proud of United's performance, whether we won or not, just on the record. I want to say that on the record, but we'll get into that game. We'll also talk Chelsea versus Leicester, and we'll talk Spurs getting tanned down by Fulham. Like Fulham just took them apart. They Fulham must have had like five Paulinhos on the pitch and out hustled them. And what else we got to talk about? England call ups. Ben White turning it down. Uh, yeah, Chelsea. Yeah, we'll see what else. But we got Lee Hudson, stand up comic, Southampton fan. And what's up, Lee? How you feeling?
I'm good. Stress-free football weekend for me. Southampton were not playing.
Mm-hmm.
We were due to play Leicester this weekend, but obviously they were still in the FA Cup against Chelsea. So we had nothing going on this weekend. I got to just sit back and enjoy a weekend of football as a neutral, just soaking it in, and pretty much all these FA Cup games delivered for the neutral as well.
Yeah, yeah. They delivered for the neutral and for some of the participants. You know what I'm saying? Uh, so let's go to this instant classic, Old Trafford quarterfinal, Liverpool versus Man United, ends 4-3. All the maligned characters did something in this game to redeem themselves. It's almost as if they had a shitty season on purpose to be like, this is the moment. There will be no quadruple for Klopp. United has shut that down. They can only win the Europa League now, Liverpool can, or the league. I actually do kind of hope they win the league. You know, I like Klopp, but not enough to have him come to Old Trafford and knock us out. And we played valiantly. Like when the game started, I was like, okay, United, all right, this is good. I don't believe this is gonna you're gonna be able to sustain this intensity and keep up these shots and keep passing the ball around to each other like that and not giving up the ball. But all right, this is impressive. You know the way you're opening, and then of course I didn't like seeing Scott McTominay's name on in the starting 11. I was like, this guy needs to come in to a game, not start a game. But boom, Scott scored the first one. And Scott McTominay normally has one game, right? He has one game per game. So he'll come in and score the goal that wins, or he'll start and do nothing. But this game, he had two games. He did something, and then there were huge lapses in time when he did nothing except pass the ball to somebody in a Liverpool shirt, which was frustrating, or not challenge as much for balls as he could. And then he picked it up, especially towards the end. You know, the beginning of the second half. After he scored, he kind of faded. Like I did what I had to do for the day. That type of vibe. I don't like that. Like keep this intensity up. This is the problem with United. And yeah, we let Liverpool actually score three goals to end the half. Only thank I just want to give a shout out to Mo Salah's offside shoulder. Thank you for that one because that got their first goal called back. But then they did score two goals, and Onana he was on it this game too. You know, I should just start this by just giving everybody credit. Like Onana was on it, outlet pass wise, and playing with the ball at his feet, he was good, and saves wise, he was good. Two of the three goals were deflections, so there's nothing he could do about it. And the one that did go in, like he made this first save, and then the other one, the guy just placed it in off the post, and there's one of his own teammates in his way, and he had already just saved the ball. He's getting off the ground, so there's nothing he could do about that. And I just want to praise. I'm pretty much going to praise Diogo Dalot. Like, what a right back! Like, he's going to be one of the best in the world. He's still pretty young. But what a game! And Wan-Bissaka on the other side of the pitch. That's not even his half of the pitch, and like, to be injured and then come back, no rust. You come back, you're supposed to be rusty, and especially if you're playing on the side of the pitch that you're not used to. Looked like he was born there, and as if he's been playing there for the last 5 weeks in peak condition. Just pure class, and just held it down over there. And I think he did worry Salah. Like, Wan-Bissaka is our Kyle Walker, like Kyle Walker would get in the player's head, and I think Wan-Bissaka got in Salah's head. Salah was, it's not often Salah be drifting to the other side of the pitch. His first shot was on the other side of the pitch. And like, what you doing over there, bro? What you doing over there? You never change sides. Like to show some love to Lindelof. He did his thing as a center half, and he was the last minute. It was supposed to be Johnny Evans, but Johnny Evans got injured, I guess, in a warm-up or a practice the day before. So then he was out. Varane did his thing too. Just, helps us get the ball out the back. And, one of those lighthouse towers that clears balls off crosses and corners just there. And Mainu's like, the reason for the I don't know if it was the first goal, but that footwork and just the calmness and just no panic when he's being surrounded by like world-class players, like a midfield that's done some shit, in this season. And it's just like, sorry, I'll figure a way out of this. Let me just dance a little bit, pass the ball between my legs. When they go that way, I'll go this way. When they go this way, I'll go that way. So, and then boom. Rashford, he had 2 games too. He had the game where, he scored the goal, and I think he had an assist. And he almost got Scott McTominay in too for one, like late in I think that was in extra time. A perfect pass, and there wasn't much going on, waited patiently. He's just got to get his passing together. Like, he makes a lot of bad passes sometimes, and it's just, if you're not going to get the shot off, like, use your skill to buy you time and then make a good pass. And I just name everybody for what they did. Like, of course, Liverpool had some chances. They had the ball a little bit more than us, but it's Liverpool. They're a really good team. They're coached by a really good. There's a reason why Liverpool fans are going to miss Klopp, because he's good. He knows how to coach the kids. They bought the right people. So, they did their thing, So, and they had the spells of the game where they were going to have the ball, where they were going to attack us, and where they were going to be Liverpool. And they did that. And I do think they came there a little overconfident, and I thank them for that. They did pull up a smidgen overconfident, and we surprised them with our energy for the first 30-something minutes of the game, which is good. It keeps the game within winning reach for us. And who else? Bruno Fernandes. He's been maligned, but listen, he played every position today. Every fucking position. And it's like, if Bruno doesn't score, get an assist, he gets judged on that. But this motherfucker played center half. You know what I'm saying? With one leg. For probably 2 extra time periods. So just props, like real captain shit. You know what I mean? Soldier shit. And Haaland did as much as he could coming off an injury, just getting back. Who else? Let's start talking about the subs. So you recognize that I've been asking for this guy, so thank you for that in the chat. He's like, Ahmad, like, they finally put Ahmad on. They put him on. But before Ahmad came on, uh, the guy who got us the equalizer, Anthony, who hasn't done much of anything this year except get accused of domestic abuse, and cause trouble for us off the pitch. And, you know, like I said at the beginning, it's like this was like script day. Like this was the day for everybody to redeem themselves. Rashford, for McTominay to redeem himself, and it was also the day for Anthony to redeem himself. Like I counted, he was surrounded by at least 7 Liverpool players when he pirouetted and put that ball corner right pocket and beat the keeper. And we needed that, tied the game up. I think that's the one that took us to extra time, right?
Mm.
His goal? Yeah.
Anthony's goal, yeah.
Yeah, that's his goal. But then I really want to go to Ahmad, who is my player of the match, because I know Ahmad is a very skilled player, very skilled, highly skilled, and he's young and he's going to get better. And we lack technical players. But I thought Ten Hag is probably not playing him because he doesn't hustle. Because I want him to play, and that's how I'm like, because I believe in Ten Hag. I'm like, I'm finding a reason for him, but that can't be the reason because this nigga hustles. You know what I'm saying? He saved. I think he had the time he's been on the pitch. He had more tackles and won more 50-50s than McTominay at the time he was on the pitch. Like there was one when what's the Colombian on Liverpool? Diaz strolling into the box, and our defense is backing off, and this black streak just comes through, runs, wins the ball cleanly, takes it from him, and goes back up pitch. Like that was a pivotal moment. And also another moment that didn't involve him, Diallo, was when Liverpool at the end of the game, or I forgot what part of the game this was, but they had a 4-on-2 and they did not score, and Delot blocked it. And I was like, to me, I was like, we're gonna win this. I don't know how, but a Liverpool 4-on-2 against our defense that can't even stop people when we outnumber them. And this is a Liverpool team at the top of the league. They're outnumbering us on an attack. We're caught in transition, and that was the save of the match to me. But Diallo did that. So even for the goal that Rashford scored to make it 3-3, Ahmad was involved in that again. Like we pressed, we did not let them out. Ahmad got the deflection. The deflection went to McTominay. McTominay, like, started having his second game in the game. Perfect touch, great assist to Rashford. Rashford started having his second game, put the ball in the back of the net, 3-3. And then just Amad Diallo, man, again, on the corner for Liverpool. It's their corner. He gets the ball from 2 Liverpool players. Like, I don't know why Ten Hag ain't playing him now, because he just took the ball off 2 Liverpool players and got it to. So the one thing I think he can't do, he's proved to me in this game at the highest level against greatest competition that he can do it. So I'm like, you better play him now, or if you get fired for whatever reason, it's your fault. Like, I can't defend you. You have to play him, because he can do 2 things that we haven't been doing. He can hold the ball and he can win the ball. Like, 2 things we need. And this motherfucker ain't on the pitch. Like, so you have to play him. You just have to play him. So runs up the ball with Garnacho, and Garnacho has been hustling all game. Props to him. You know, he's one of our best players on the day. Makes the pass short, but that does not bother Amad Diallo. And it's like, Liverpool is not going to have the only Muslim that scores today on Ramadan. That's been fast, and we're gonna have one too. And Ahmad puts the winner in the back of the net, takes off his shirt, gets a red. Forgot he had a yellow before, gets a double yellow, and pretty much game over. We hang on for 4 extra minutes that the ref added on, but Man United, we win that game 4-3, and I had the greatest time in my living room. And we're in the quarterfinals, and afterwards, I will talk about the draw afterwards. But what did you think? Sorry for my long-winded.
No, like this is probably the biggest win of your season in terms of the stature of the occasion. So
Mhm.
go off as long as you need to go off on this one,
Thank
because
you.
you got to savor those moments, especially when you did it in the fashion that you did it as well, because that was just pure drama, that game. Just crazy. And I mean, I'm not going to lie, I expected Liverpool to win this game, um, especially when I
Yeah,
saw the teams come out and they had that midfield back together of Sobolai, McAllister, and Endo, because I know they're still missing some midfielders like Thiago and Trent can obviously play there, but I think that three is probably their most balanced midfield, um, because Endo and McAllister can do the sort of holding stuff. McAllister can get forward as well, and Sobolai um, brings sort of a lot of attacking threat as well. So I saw that and I was like, that's not good for United that those three are playing together. And that front three was strong as well. So just really strong lineup um, from Liverpool. But you came out the gates flying. And like you say, they had a bit more of the ball, but I kind of feel like this United team, like they didn't dominate like massively with the ball. I think it was 59-41%. Um, and I kind of feel like this United team, it kind of suits you having the space to attack into, um, with the pace you've got in that front line and midfield. You've got midfielders that want to drive forward with the ball as well. Um, so yeah, it was an interesting tactical battle. Um, it was in just I don't know how the game would have panned out had Liverpool not scored those 2 goals when they did. I don't know if maybe United could have held on and won it in normal time, if because it was 2 quick fire goals, wasn't it? Right at the end of the first
yeah.
half, they got bam bam one after the other, and yeah, just I thought that was when I saw that I was like, oh, this is going to rock United now, and Liverpool will go on and win this game, because that's a real confidence hit to
Right.
just concede 2 goals quick succession, but then you rallied, you came back out. Like you say, Anthony got the goal, which is massive for him. Um, and I wasn't that surprised when Ahmad came on and he hustled, because he spent a season with Sunderland in the Championship, and if you like the Championship will make you work hard. You
Right.
can't hide
But that
in this.
but that's just me trying to make an excuse for Ten Hag, because I'm like, why are you not playing this guy?
Yeah.
It's like you have Anthony you put on, they play in the same position, but Anthony gives away the ball away confidently. You have someone who will retain the ball and hustle for the ball. So why not play him? But I know, I get it. You spend all that money on Anthony.
And then crazy seeing Mount come into the game as well,
I forgot he
because
came in.
between him and Princess Kate Middleton, they're the two most high profile missing people in the UK right now. And I was like, oh shit, he's alive. So to see him come off the bench, and not fuck it up as well, I was like, because I was just hoping. I was like, when he came on, I was like, I hope for his sake this game does not go to penalties, because he will definitely be the person missing one, and it will probably finish his United career, if that happens. So I was hoping for his sake that it didn't go to penalties. But that was crazy though, that you changed it up when you were 3-2 down, when Harvey Elliott scored that deflected goal,
Yeah.
and it was like you changed it up to just throw everything to try and get back in this game. And like you say, at one point, I think you had a back three of like Anthony, Bruno, and Maguire. Like I think at one point, like Maguire was your only
Maguire was
defender
up.
left on the field.
Yeah, Maguire actually was up playing left wing because he got a point blank shot. He got in the box,
Yeah.
shifted a defender, and took a point blank shot. Like, talk about the kitchen sink. Maguire is our
Yeah.
kitchen sink, and he was up there. He's the literal kitchen
Yeah.
sink. He plays like one.
But like, yeah, you make those changes when you're 3-2 down to try and get back in the game, and then all of a sudden you're 4-3 up, and you've got 10 men, but you've only got attackers on the pitch pretty much. And it's like, you guys need to work now for these few minutes. Like I don't care if you're attackers for the next few minutes, you're all defenders, because you got to see this out. And I just think, for like the psychology of the group of players you've got, this win's huge. Even if, I wouldn't expect you to lose to Coventry, but if you get through to the final, lose against City, that might happen. But this game, I think, going forward, not even just this season, like for even like future seasons, for certain players to be able to draw on the strength that this game will probably give them mentality wise is huge. So it's not just huge for next week or the week after. I think for like seasons after, for players like Ahmad, for players even like players who've even already proved themselves this season, like Mainu. It's like this is like a big character building game. Like this is a sort of game where people. This game will probably come up in interviews 10 years later or something with some of those players, and they'll be able to say, okay, yeah, that game, that was the one that kind of made us,
Yeah.
and brought the group together. So, yeah, like they clearly all wanted to play for each other. They clearly all wanted to work for each other. They clearly wanted to play for the manager as well. So, yeah, I think it's a really good shape for you guys to be in after this.
Yeah, and it's been a crazy week for Diallo because this was the week when he kind of like wiped Man United from his Instagram, and you could tell he wanted to play, and he's been wanting to play, and I know he could play. Sometimes you just see enough of a player to know he can play, and I know when he saw that game when Mainu, Garnacho, and Holland took that photo. He's like, I want to be like, I should have been in that photo. You know what I mean? And this goal was like, put me in the fucking photo. You know what I mean? Don't be taking no 3 youth players on the pitch photo. Don't be taking on it the Man United future photos and not include me in it. Like I'm in this, So I hope we don't sell him because he's gonna be good, man. Like we don't want a Paul Pogba situation because I just think he's just another person he's really skilled. Maybe he shows off a little bit too much, but he's nice with his. So yeah, man, super exciting game. Glad we won, and Liverpool should be proud. And United, even if we lost, I was like, yeah, well, I'm still proud of this performance against Liverpool because that's where we are now. And then we still didn't even have our defense, but we had a defense that was good enough. And so, yeah, we got to be careful against Coventry because it's the FA Cup and teams get to upset you. And thank you, Ian Wright, for drawing right. You know what I'm saying? And getting pulling out those 1 and 2 balls so that we can face Coventry at Wembley. What league is Coventry in?
Championship.
And how are they doing in the championship?
They're either in or hovering just outside the playoffs. They're a strong team. They lost the playoff final last year to Luton on penalties.
Right.
So let me just check in. Because they're a strong team. They're a team I'm worried about if we end up in the playoffs, which I think we will.
Oh shit!
And they've got some really like hungry young players as well. They've got some players that had like a little taste of Premier League football and didn't quite make it. So they got a lot of motivation in that team. They're 8th at the moment.
Okay.
And top 6 is playoffs, but they're 8th and they're only 4 points outside the playoffs, and they got a game in hand as well. So yeah, they're around there.
Yeah, and they beat Wolves. They came back from what 2-1 down to win 3-2 in like what was it? They scored
they were
late.
they were 1-0 up, then they were 2-1 down, and then they won 3-2 with 2 goals in stoppage time.
Oh,
I think
shit.
96th and 100th minute.
Right.
That 90 plus 10 was on the board when they got
Damn.
that one. There's an American who scored the winner as well, Hadji Wright. He's a good forward.
Oh, Haji, right. Yeah. Yeah, he's played
Yeah,
for the US before.
he got the winner. And the guy who scored both the other goals, Ellis Sims, he came through Everton. Like he was a kid who broke into Everton's team, played a few Premier League games. There was a little bit of hype. It never quite happened. He was like a sort of a big, sort of powerful forward, but could never quite break into the team because they were busy signing trash like Mopay and
This
stuff. So
hilarious.
he ended up leaving. He went on loan to a few clubs and he ended up going to Coventry. And yeah, he's doing well for them this season as well. So their best player though, he didn't score at all in this game, but the guy to watch out for is a guy called Callum O'Hare. Um, he was a Villa academy player, didn't quite make the grade at Villa, went to Coventry, and he's been tearing it up for them. He's like a midfielder with some real flair and attacking capability. He's really fun to watch. He missed the playoff final for them, I think it was last year, because he had an ACL or something, or some
Right.
horrible injury.
Oh,
But
shit.
this season he's back and he's proven himself. So yeah, he's the one to watch for them for me.
Yeah, I hope Coventry doesn't ruin it for us in the FA Cup and ruin it for you in the championship. It's yeah, if you face them in the championship, you know, in that game for the third place, a team with experience that's been there before is gonna throw everything at you. So that'd be a catastrophe for them to get to the playoffs and not qualify 2 years in a row. So yeah. Yeah, the game was a banger. It was everything. The game was everything. Like, and a great way to go into the international break. Like, I was resigned to going into the international break on a loss because it wasn't a loss in the league. So I was like, that's how I was going to justify it to myself to like not be miserable. But yeah, now we got to win over Liverpool, quality opponent, top of the league. And here's the crazy thing: Kojo, I saw him on Thursday at the store. Then he texts me on Friday. He's like, he's gonna leave town. He's in LA, and he wanted to like know if he could stay here, and I said yes, but last minute he changed his mind, which means he would have been here for the game. So wherever he's staying saved him from me like getting in his ass over this score. Because if you watch the podcast, Kojo's a Liverpool fan. After talking about this, what else were we supposed to talk about? I can't even remember.
I mean, there was the other games. So there was Chelsea Leicester. We sort of covered Wolves Coventry briefly in the chat there to preview your game against them. But yeah, Chelsea Leicester was a pretty crazy game as well. Like I thought they were going to be comfortable in that game when they went 2-0 up. Chelsea, yeah, they went 2-0 up. I was like, okay, you're playing a championship team. You've gone 2-0 up. Chelsea kind of feel like they've started to find their feet a bit more recently, but I never quite trust them because it's Chelsea. But when they went 2-0 up, I was like, oh, you're there. And then yeah, letting them back in 2-2. Crazy game.
You put a little pressure on. Was that Diassi?
Disassi, yeah.
Diassi, he put together. Look at that forward put a little shoulder on him, and Diassi is like, "Let me just score this." Like Diassi is when it's out when in doubt, not put it in the back of your net, and like end the pressure. Like yeah, he could have just turned to the outside, but yeah, he didn't estimate where the goalkeeper was, and yeah, he roofed that shit. And
even if it did go to the goalkeeper, why are you playing him a ball that he's going to have to try and bring down with his chest or something? But that was a hand grenade of a back pass, even if it went to the keeper.
It reeked of panic.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean Chelsea fans were booing as well at 2-2. Pochettino had to come out and sort of have a bit of a word about that to sort of them to calm down. But post game, but it's easy to do that when you got 2 goals back in stoppage time. and Leicester were down to 10 men as well because they had a sending off. So yeah,
because Raheem Sterling missed the penalty, but at least he got Leicester down to. He created that penalty, and I watched that penalty over again. Not the actual taking, but the awarding, like the actions that, and that guy coming in the box, he came in that box hot, like it, because Raheem was in the middle of kicking the ball. It looked weird, and like maybe Raheem just like whiffed on the ball, and then they're gonna call this a penalty, and it's gonna get turned over. But it's like, nah, that guy came in hot. That's reckless in the box, to get to somebody. And Raheem Sterling missed a penalty, and then he did get the assist on the Cole Palmer goal, and he did get homeboy out the field or out the game, make it 10 men.
I thought that was Jackson. I might be wrong.
Yeah, check. I think it was Sterling. It's like one of his last actions. Because I think he got a free kick from that and kicked the ball over into. I think it's still going. He kicked it way over. I was like, he just had one of those games. Thank God he got the assist.
I can't remember who it is. Chelsea Leicester red card.
Does it say?
Yeah, it was Jackson.
Oh, it was Jackson? Oh, shit. I thought it was Sterling.
Yeah.
So Sterling, fuck it. Sterling didn't do shit. Missed the penalty.
And he got the assist. Like you said, he got
That's
the
a legit assist. That's a legit assist, yeah. That is a legit assist, but, he's not playing like he used to. I don't know what's wrong. He's like he got Rashford disease. Whatever those two got, they got it bad. I wish they could get rid of it. Trying to think about what else I liked about the two goals that the one to take the lead and then the one to seal it were bangers. And was it Chukwuemeka?
Chukwuemeka, yeah.
Chukwuemeka, and I think he's from Aston Villa because I remember when when Lloyd used to tell me about him. He's a Villa fan. He got him from the academy, and he was starting to start for Aston Villa, but he wanted more playing time, and Aston Villa couldn't guarantee it. So he's like, I'm going to go somewhere where I'm going to play even less, and then he goes to Chelsea, and it's like, how do you demand playing time and go to somewhere where you're going to play less? Like, I mean, it's fine, it's done now, but he's got skills. And then is it Madueke? Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
He got the fourth one. I just say it fast, and the faster I say it, the closer it's not Madueke. Just don't think about it. You ever have a name that you can't say? Just say it with confidence and speed, and you'll be close.
Oh.
Yeah, so good for Chelsea, and because the fans even booed when they subbed Mudryk out, and didn't the person they subbed him for score? I know the person he subbed Sterling for scored.
I'm not sure who he came out for because I only watched the highlights rather than the full game on this one.
Yeah, I think I watched it this morning. So yeah, they got the goal, and Chelsea's still alive, and they got to play Man City in the quarterfinals. According to Ian Wright's balls.
That Man City game as well was just easy for them on there. I mean, Ortega had to make that one good save, but other than that, like, I know Silva scored 2 deflected goals, but they could have had 5 or 6 in that game.
Right. What do you think is going to happen to Newcastle's coach?
I mean, all the stories in the media have been that he will get next season.
Okay.
So they'll give him another summer to shape the team a little bit, and he'll
Hmm.
start next season. Um, but I could easily see him gone by Christmas.
Damn.
Next or this year because it'll be next season, but this year.
Hmm.
Just because I feel like that I don't think is necessarily on him. I think it's definitely down to the expectations of the owners and the money they're trying to put in within the realms of FFP.
Right.
Um, but I just think owners now have unrealistic expectations given how competitive the league is.
Hmm.
Because although not every team has Saudi money, every team has money in the Premier League. Like every
Hmm.
team has money, and that top end of the league is so competitive now as well. Like you guys are finding your feet again. Villa have
Slow
progressed
down
under
now. It's just one
Emery.
game. Wasn't even in the league.
Well, you're above them in the league though, so
Yeah, yeah. It's the least we could
um,
do.
but yeah, that's what I mean. Like I say, you guys are finding your feet again. Villa have progressed under Emery into a side that can challenge in that part of the table. Tottenham have improved under Ange, and then obviously Liverpool, Arsenal, City are like the top three that are kind of locked in at the moment. And I can't see them getting worse anytime soon. Although who knows what will happen to Liverpool when Klopp goes. So there's all those teams, and they're trying to break into that group, and then you've even got teams that are just outside that group
Yeah, we're
that
trying
can
to
be
break into that group.
competitive. But I mean, even outside the top sort of seven or so, you've got like Brighton, who are always going to be around that mark. Although if De Zerbi goes, which I think is a real possibility this summer, um, they need to get the next hire in right because Southampton proved that you don't keep getting them right all the time. They
Right.
might have got the last few right, but all it needs is one wrong one or two wrong ones, and you'll find yourself slipping. And they've lost so many people from behind the scenes at Brighton as well.
Yeah.
Um, Chelsea have picked a lot of them off. So you never know what could happen there. But for the moment, Brighton are in that group. West Ham, even though their fans don't like it, are in that group. They don't like Moyes. But they're in that group of clubs right now. I think Chelsea will probably only get better. I think they've kind of hit the lowest they can go. How quickly they'll turn that round, I don't know, but they'll be hoping to get back up into that part of the table as well. So,
Hmm.
especially with the money they've spent. So, yeah, I feel like Newcastle. It's that he set the expectations too high by finishing in the top
Hmm.
four last season. It's a great achievement, but it's this double-edged sword, isn't it? Because they're now expecting that they've had a little taste of that, and I don't think that's it's necessarily something that's feasible, like guaranteed for them. If I think anything top eight, maybe top six is like a realistic aim, but they shouldn't be too mad if it doesn't happen. Because they can't just spend all the money they have because of the restrictions. So they've got a nice squad at the moment, but that squad is a top eight squad. It's not a top four squad, in my opinion.
Right. Yeah. I was talking to Lloyd, and I was saying Villa did Europe right. Like
Yeah,
Newcastle, they came from out of nowhere and just went straight into Europe. And
yeah,
they're playing PSG, Borussia Dortmund, all these teams with all this Champions League
mm,
European experience. Villa, they finished sixth, so they enter Europe in a way like on their level. They're getting a good taste for it now. They're still in the competition. They having a coach that has I've been to Europe and won cups here, competitions. So then next year, if Villa stays where they are and they get into the Champions League, it's like, oh, we kind of been here before. Kind of got
mm,
some experience doing this last year. But the shock of like a Newcastle, a team that was relegated a few years ago, finishing top four and getting to Champions League and playing PSG, that's a big jolt. That's like a cold plunge, like an extra cold plunge. You might not recover from that, But I like Eddie Howe, so hopefully he survives. And it's tough when you like so many coaches. Like I like Klopp, and he's supposed to. I like Eddie Howe, the way he just carries himself and like what he's building over there. So it's tough to root against him, but I can't root for him because that means we'll suffer. United will suffer. And we're not having that. We're suffering enough.
Mm.
You want to talk about Fulham getting in Spurs' entire ass?
That's a great way to describe it, because
that's what I saw. That's what I witnessed.
That game was beautiful. It was. I mean, I like to take a bit of pleasure in Tottenham losses, and this is what Martin's done to me. But I mean, that was brutal, because that could have been more than 3 as well. They had a lot of good chances. And yeah, Muniz is putting down a marker saying that he is a Premier League striker right now. He's on a nice little streak of scoring for them, and they were just fun to watch in this game as well. Fulham, like Pereira's a great sort of creative hub for them. Like the ball goes through him a lot. Willian is just on a one-man mission to prove Neil wrong. Every time he steps on the field, I kept sending Willian all the episodes of the podcast where Neil shit talked him.
That's hilarious.
But no, it's crazy what he's doing though, because he's ageless right now. Willian, he's like, yeah, I don't know if he's having like a Benjamin Button career. He looks younger and more energetic every time he plays right now. So that's crazy. I like the way Iwobi plays for them as well, because he's kind of like, he got bounced out of Arsenal, even though he showed some promise there. He then went to Everton. He did some good stuff for Everton, but no one really sort of was that sad that he left Everton, I don't think, on the Everton side. Even though he had some good moments there as well. And then for Fulham, just ripping it up right now. Like that 3 behind the striker of Pereira in the middle with Iwobi and Willian to either side, like really fun to watch. And then Paulina's just in the holding midfield spot, just mopping up everything. And Lukic as well got his first goal off the thigh, off the knee or whatever that was.
The back of the knee, the kneecap. Yeah, man. Go ahead. Sorry.
But so yeah, and their defenders, they're all players. It's not the most sort of high profile set of players, but like Castagna gets up and down on the right, and Robinson gets up and down the left, and Bassi and Adarabioyo are just solid in the middle. And Leno's a solid keeper as well. He got bounced out of Arsenal, and the same as Iwobi, and he's got some caps for Germany, but they've got a bunch of good keepers. But yeah, he's a solid keeper. He's played in the Bundesliga. He's played at the top level of the Premier League. So yeah, this Fulham side it's a nice collection of players, and I like watching them. And yeah, it all clicked for them in this game. It all clicked for them. Whenever they went forward, there was a big chance at the end of it, and they had the quality to take those chances as well. And Spurs, I mean, off the back of giving Villa a hiding, and then they come and do this. It's like, I mean, I because there wasn't obviously that many games in the Premier League this weekend, so I gambled in fantasy football and I stacked my team up with Spurs players. I put Son in, I put Maddison in.
Shit.
I captained Son. So if I'm the curse, I'm kind of happy I had a bad week in fantasy football because it did this to Tottenham. So
it's worth it.
Yeah, it's 100% worth it because they got it handed to them.
I mean, like I watched this game because, I'm ashamed to admit that I like watching Spurs play, but I came to this game. I am. Trust me. You think it's any fun liking to watch the team that Martin supports? That's not fun to like. I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna get some enjoyment from, because that means I want to see them. I'm gonna see them win, and But I came to enjoy watching Spurs and left enjoying watching Fulham destroy them. And Fulham, man, did everything that I thought Spurs was going to do to them. And Fulham was playing in fast forward, and Spurs was just stuck on play. And they just highline Spurs, packed them into their half, and just boxed the ball around. They moved the ball around. And Robinson, like, getting up that ball across for the first goal. And I think Muniz blew an opportunity to score before that from a Robinson ball. That was, but Robinson, I could barely see around this high line, but I can curve this ball around this high line. And hopefully with my mathematics and algebra, I can calculate where this ball should get to an area where Muniz could get it. Yeah, and I've been watching Muniz score the last few weeks. So it's like, because normally I would expect, he came out of nowhere because what's his name, who used to play for Spurs? What's his name? Was getting some run and scoring. What the hell is his name? But he must be injured because I don't see him on the Fulham. Vinicius was doing a little something. And what's his name that used to play for Wolves, who had the scar, the surgery, the skull
Jimenez. Yeah.
Jimenez was so. Muniz has come at a time when I thought those guys were starting to do their thing. But good call, Silver, to put this guy in, because he got 2 against Spurs today, and just for the whole team, like Pereira, ex-United player, and I just always like William, because and this is great because United did not play in the Premier League. We won in the FA Cup. We beat our greatest rivals, but we have a game in hand against Spurs, and Villa had a tie. So even in the Premier League that we didn't play in, this was a good weekend for us, and we're getting players back. Mount is back. I don't know what he's going to do. I hope, right now, I hope I grow to love this guy. I wasn't a big fan of his when he was at Chelsea, and I didn't want us to buy him, but I hope I'm wrong about this. Like, United has enough midfielders to have a good midfield, and that's our weakest area since Fergie left 11, 12 years ago. And so hopefully we'll fix this thing, because that midfield today was not supposed to be, but Mount, he's going to be rusty. I'm glad they played Eriksen today, just going back to the United game, because Eriksen is coming. He came back a few weeks ago and he played and he was terrible, but I was like, he's rusty. It's not even his age. He's just rusty. Like, give him time to catch up to game speed. We need to play our subs more so that if we need them to start, they're ready to start. So we need to Ten Hag has been like keeping the squad too tight with the little bit. And I know everybody's not available, but when Eriksen sat down for a few games now, he should have been in longer, or put him in. You're playing Scott McTominay. But thank you, Scott, for your goal today. I appreciate that. But yeah, I think we should cash in on you. What do you think of the Champions League draw? What amazing matchups.
Yeah, there's a lot going on there, isn't there? Like, I remember watching City Real Madrid last season, in especially the game at Man City where they just dismantled that Real Madrid team. And I was like, okay, maybe Madrid need to start again and shift some of these players out. Because maybe that's the end of like this, the older generation of like Cruz and Modric and people.
And you were right.
I mean, they just needed Bellingham. That's all they needed. So that for me makes that the most interesting game. It might have been the most interesting game even if they didn't have a Bellingham, to be honest. But that for me means that's the most interesting game of this Champions League draw for me. Just because I want to see. We know Bellingham is a big game player. He's done it in the Clásicos. He's done it in big Champions League games. He's done it in big league games for them. I want to see what he can do in this, because now this is the biggest like club game he's played in right now.
Yeah,
That's what this game will be. I think so.
yeah.
And yeah, like we get to see what he's got. And Bayern Arsenal is just interesting from the point of view where it's like this is Kane's.
Let me just talk to you about how
Yeah, that's it.
the city. I don't know if it's. I don't think anything is big in Jude's head, and that's why he's been as great as he is. But I get what you're saying. I just think just watching him play, because every time you think, oh, this big game is going to get to him, it just doesn't. So it is probably the biggest game, but it probably won't affect him like that because he has, how you said United should use the game today to carry them forward even in next year. Like Jude has done so much this season of what United done today that he can carry into this game. And but yeah, it's just weird that a guy that almost went to Man United, he took the tour and ended up going to Dortmund, and now he's at Real Madrid, and he will be playing an English team from the city that he almost went to, and he's going to be playing his ex-teammate Haaland, who's already won a treble. So there's like all these lines or these soap opera relationships going on there, and yeah, both guys have been working out for their teams, and this is, like one got the other. Real Madrid got City out the year before, right, and won the thing, and then last year City got them out. So this is the rubber match, for their recent history, and so yeah, it's like you couldn't even ask for more, bro. And kudos for Man City for us to be looking at them like this. And like looking at a Man City Real Madrid matchup and be like, this is a like top ticket dollar. You know what I mean? So, hey man, this is worth all of their 115 charges to bring them to this point. Now, what's the other game you wanted to talk about?
Arsenal Bayern as well. This is Kane's last shot at a trophy in his first season at Bayern, and he's facing the club he loves. He's facing the team he supported as a child.
The team whose jersey he used to wear under his Spurs jersey.
Yeah. This is the dream for him. He gets to play at the Emirates. So, but no, it's just obviously that's like the main narrative there. That it's him and Dyer going up against Arsenal, and yeah, I mean Arsenal fans, I think they'll find it. For me, it's funny either way, whoever wins this, because
right.
If Kane wins a trophy at Bayern,
right,
that to me is funny because it's another person who leaves Spurs and wins something. Or if he gets knocked out here and they win nothing this season, well, it's like, oh, he just carried the Spurs DNA with him. So either way, for me, it's funny. I can't lose
right.
with Kane at Bayern. It's and him scoring goals there is good for England. So it's all a win for me. Whatever happens to him at Bayern. So, but I think that'll be a fun game to watch, because obviously Arsenal did it the hard way against Porto. That shootout was crazy. That whole game was tense as well. The managers are going at it on the sideline. Porto went there to try and rattle Arsenal as well and get in their heads during the game and time wasting and winding people up. So
they went Atletico Madrid on them.
Oh yeah, they went for Atletico on them, and yeah. So this one will be interesting because like Bayern, obviously we know they're not at the peak of their powers, but they are still a very dangerous team. They still have Musiala, they still have Kane, they still have players who on their day can show up like Sané as well. They've got the old heads like Muller. in there, and Kimmich and Neuer. So I think that'll be a really fun one to watch as well. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, because Arsenal could be in their ascension, and there's also no proper lines like Arsenal is not only Kane's favorite team, but his main rival when he played in England. You know what I mean? So what if your main rival, you leave the league and your main rival stops you from winning the Champions League? Like that's where the Arsenal fans are going to get their second delight if they beat Bayern. They're going to be ecstatic that they beat Bayern, but they're going to be like, we beat Harry Kane or Spurs. So it's like this, it's going to bleed. Spurs hate is going to bleed into this match for sure. And it's not just him, it's Dyer there too. So, and it's hard to see Dyer being able to stop these Arsenal forwards and what they've been doing to better people than Dyer. So that's where I think Bayern Munich is in trouble. You know what I mean? But it's I don't respect Arsenal yet because they haven't, besides the FA Cup when Arteta first got there, they haven't won anything. But and they're not going to be seen as better than Bayern until they beat Bayern or win some shit like Bayern has won. But on a whole, they're a better team in a tougher league than Bayern. So it's hard to be like Arsenal got this, but they probably do got this. This is going to probably be where Kane does lose his chance, like you said, of winning anything this year, which is why he left Spurs to win some shit. And then so the only thing he won so far was Spurs 90 mil. And that's it. What do you think about PSG Barcelona?
It's the battle of Messi's exes. You got the one that he was married to for years, and then you've got the one he left them for. Then you got the one he left them for a fling, and now he's gone to something else. But it's weird. Maybe a few years ago I would have got really excited for this game. And now I'm just like, for me, Man City, Real Madrid, and Bayern Arsenal are more interesting than this game. Because there are some little stories here, like Luis Enrique going up against his former
ungrateful ex Barcelona.
And obviously it's Mbappe's final season at PSG as well. So there are those things, and there's some good young players on each team as well, but it doesn't have the superstar quality that this game could have had a few years ago. And there's those classic games as well, like when PSG took the big lead against Barca, and then Barca turned it round at the Nou Camp and things like that. And the teams, and there were some names on those teams, and there's still quality players on both sides, but I kind of feel like it hasn't got the stature that this fixture had in the past.
Name branded. I get
exactly.
You're too intellectual to not get stuck on the name branding, which is ruining this. This I'm just looking at the branding, bro. I'm like PSG versus Barcelona, like top tier football. Like both of these teams won the league in their league last year. Like if you like Real Madrid, Barcelona beat them in the league last year, and this is so it's like so it's like they're they're still the champs until maybe 10 more games from now, which more or less. I also just love me a good Mbappe display. Like it's just that hard. Nothing can stop that left streak, that streaker. We're lucky he's a football player, not a streaker. Like one of those people that runs on the field and interrupt games, because he could do that shit for 90 minutes and none of the groundsmen would catch him. Like, so we're lucky. As a matter of fact, if he was a streaker, they'd be like, hey man, stop doing this every week. Come to training. We'll get you a uniform and we'll get you more acquainted with the ball and you could play with your clothes on. but that's how fast Mbappe is. We're lucky he's not a streaker. But I just love watching this dude, and he's playing against the team that next season will be his main rival if this transfer goes through in the postseason. And also that both of them have that Dortmund aspect to them, where like Dortmund is the team that has the young players that you watch them to see them develop and where they're gonna go. But both these teams, like you mentioned, like Barcelona got a gang of kids that's like, Jamil and some other people, Balde and Arujo and the Pedris and the Gavis and other new ones that just like sprouted out like weeds out of La Masia. You know what I'm saying? like they've been just watering the ground out there, and the players been popping out. Some of that messy sweat that fell in the grass, like, and produce some other children and shit. And PSG, they got 3 kids, that I love watching. Is it Vinta? And Vitinha. And then the other one, they put him in. I thought that they turned him into a right back or a left back. I can't remember what side, but he was Emery. He was a midfielder.
Zaire Emery, yeah.
Zaire Emery. They put him. I was like, they were experimenting with him as a fullback, and then Barclay. Sometimes they move Mbappe to the middle and make him play, practice playing 9 for Real Madrid, and they put Barclay, and Barclay's been balling. So I'm that's why I want to see the kid on kid crime. Like, these are child. This is child soldier football, because one of these, I want to see who got next is in this match. So I love it. What do you think of the England squad? Maybe we'll just do that before we go.
I mean, you're just forgetting about Dortmund Atletico because you're like, nah,
yeah.
No one's going to watch that game.
No, I'm gonna watch it, right? But we don't have to talk about it.
It's on the same time as Barca PSG.
Nobody's gonna watch that game. Why would they do that?
Yeah, it's a shame the games are on the exact same time, because it means you can't watch all of them live.
Why are they doing that?
I don't know. They always do that with the quarterfinals. So, because City Real Madrid is on the same time as Bayern Arsenal.
Damn, they make us make choices like that.
Yeah, so I might have to get 2 screens for that day.
Yeah, because nobody's gonna want to. Because Dortmund's gonna come to play football, and Atletico Madrid is gonna muck around and do. You watch boxing?
Yeah.
Who was that dude, man? Middleweight, gap tooth, but won so many titles, but all his fights were ugly. Black guy, bald, ex-con. He would hold you and then hit you and then hold you and then hit you, but won everything and has no brain damage because he wouldn't let the motherfuckers hit him. Who was that guy? That's how Atletico play. But you always watched every match, but you never enjoyed anything.
Talking about Floyd?
Not Floyd. Damn.
Floyd Mayweather was technical, though. He wore people down, but I don't think he had gap tooth.
Who was this? Why am I blanking right now? But that's who Atletico Madrid is. Like, that's you watched because damn. I wonder how do you find that out? You have to type that description in. But yeah, I mean, you watch Atletico when nothing else, no other games is on. You don't watch Atletico when Barcelona and PSG is on.
Yeah, not too excited about that.
Yeah, and like you said, if you weren't excited about Barcelona PSG, why would I get excited about Atletico Dortmund? How do I find?
Yeah, I mean,
go ahead.
You say talking about the England squad. You know what my main beef is going to be with the England squad.
Well, tell me where to look it up first. I want to see it where you're seeing it, and then and then you tell me your beef.
Also, the only boxer that came up when I was looking for that was Leon Spinks.
Damn, nah.
But that was old, and he was a
If
heavyweight.
anybody can remember what box I'm talking about, like stay 10 years ago-ish, or maybe less. Middleweight-ish, you know? Like in the Oscar De La Hoya era, kind of.
Do you want me to send you the England squad?
Yeah.
And then you get it, and you can. I mean, it's pretty predictable what my beef's going to be here.
All right, let's see. I know whose name you got beef with.
Yeah.
Right,
it's in the chat right now.
I'm looking at it. You got Sam Johnson, Jordan Pickford, Aaron Ramsdale saved his way back. Braithwaite, Ben Chilwell.
I'm glad Branthwaite's in. I'm pleased for him.
He won't play. I still don't think that he needs another season, but cool, he's in there. Lewis Dunk, that's good. Jose Gomez, Ezri Konsa. Lloyd is happy about that, but he also hates, Harry Maguire. Harry Maguire played good today. John Stones, Kyle Walker. And so Jude Bellingham, I know you like Jude. Just talking about, I know you like Conor Gallagher. You just have beef with Jordan Henderson. Yep. Because it ain't Declan Rice. And it ain't James Madison.
Oh, man.
You don't think they need his experience?
No, fuck his experience. I don't care. Like there's enough other experience in that team. If you want his experience, name him as a coach. We don't need him in there as a player anymore. He retired when he went to Saudi Arabia. He's attempted to come out of retirement by joining Ajax. Do you know what Ajax's record has been with him in the team?
What?
I think they've won like 2 in 10 or something since he's been there. They were trash before he got there, but that's not the point. He is not the guy that should be in here. Like I say, if you want him around the team, name him on the coaching staff. Don't name him in the playing squad. Because, I mean, Villa retired him. I say he retired when he went to Saudi Arabia, then came out of retirement to play at Ajax. Villa retired him again during the game the other night because he was chasing shadows in that Europa game. I don't like the guy. I don't think he should be in the team. I don't think he should be anywhere near the team.
I'll tell you,
it's annoying though because
he was picked before that Villa game for England.
Oh yeah, but I mean he was getting in the team even when Ward-Prowse was playing amazing, and now Ward-Prowse isn't playing amazing, so I can't even make a case for that. But the thing is, like, Phillips had a run of bad games, and he's gone. Southgate's finally dropped him, which is weird because it was better for him to be in the England squad when he wasn't playing. Phillips, like when he was just warming the bench at Man City, he was getting in the England squad every time, and then he went somewhere and played every week, and Southgate was like, "Oh shit, no, thank you." So he's not in there now. But I mean, just name anyone that might even put Kobe Mainoo in there instead of Henderson, and let him be around the squad and learn. Because he deserves to be in there. Like, if you're going on pure performance, he deserves to be in there over Henderson, and he's the future. Like, he should be around that squad. You know, I don't think he would be a starter for England just yet, but have him in there because he's gonna be the sixth for England. So have him in there now. Don't just have old man Henderson in there just running out the clock on his career just because he was a captain once upon a time who, you know, was involved in some stuff. I don't care. He's in there based on what he did, not what he does. And I'm not a fan of that.
I kind of want him there, you know, but because not being informed for your club or a club and playing for England does something for those players. Like, every time we say don't pick that guy because he doesn't play for his club or he's retired in this case, that person shines when Southgate picks him. So I just remember Henderson shining for Liverpool, and I remember him doing well for England. He'll only come in nuts and bolts, last few minutes of a game. We want the professionalism and the experience of like holding on to a lead or just seeing something out. Like he's one of the few people on this team. This team is mad young, man. Like, so Southgate has done a good job of recognizing the new talent and getting the old talent out from like the semifinals from the World Cup. And there's no way he's starting. There's no way he's starting.
That's why I think have Mainu in there though. Let him come and start getting that experience. Because you know what, Mainu coming into the team and getting that experience when he's 21, 22, 23, like let him start getting that experience now.
He'll get it. He's what, 18 now?
Mm.
He's got time to get it.
Yeah.
And then so I asked, so Lloyd, he's a Villa fan, so of course he's in love with Ollie Watkins. And I forgot what Lloyd asked me, I forgot what Lloyd asked me. He asked me a question because he wanted the answer. Oh, he asked me who's better, Ollie Watkins or Ivan Toney. I said, well, Lloyd, Ivan Toney just came back from a suspension. Ollie Watkins has been playing all season, so he's in form and he got a lot of goals. But Ivan Toney, since he's been back, has a decent record for someone who hasn't played in 6 months or something like that. And I said, if Ivan Toney played for Villa, he'd have as many goals or more than Ollie Watkins. Do you think that?
Probably. I think they're two very different types of players though as well. Like Watkins, I think really suits the way Villa play, because he can sort of weave in with those quick wingers they've got with Diaby and Bailey and people, and he can run the channels as well and play off the shoulder. But yeah, I think they're both really good finishers. Tony's more of like that target man. He'll battle with the defenders. He'll hold the ball up. He'll bring other people into play. He's dangerous in the air as well, but he's also a good finisher, and he can run in behind too. Not quite as pacey as Watkins, but he can do that job as well. So yeah, I think they're two very different types of players. I think they're both good options to have for England behind Kane, and I feel like Solanke is maybe a little bit unlucky not to make the squad. Just because of the season he's having. I think he's got 17 goals now for Bournemouth. So it's like 17 goals for Bournemouth.
Shit.
Should really get you, 17 goals for anyone in the Premier League as an English centre forward probably should get you in the squad.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can understand why some of the other forwards have got in there ahead of him, just because they can play wide as well, like Bowen and people. So yeah, and Rashford obviously can be a winger. So yeah, I mean we can't have more than 3 centre forwards in there with Kane, Toney, and Watkins. So it's kind of unlucky that Solanke's the odd man out, and there's still a case for if he wasn't injured, Callum Wilson as well. He's been in some squads before the injuries. For Newcastle. So
yeah,
it's a position where we've got a few more good players now, and it'd be interesting to see who makes that role their own over the next few years once Kane slows down. Because Kane's got probably, like, obviously he's definitely got this tournament and definitely the next one and probably the one after that.
Yeah, you think he's got that many?
I'd say so. He might end up dropping back as a number 10 by the time the next Euros comes around. Because I think he'll still be our starting forward for this Euros and the next World Cup.
Yeah.
And then beyond that, I'm not sure. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see who, or someone might make a run for that position before then. He'll 100% be in for this next tournament. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see if anyone does step up, because I would say like out of all those forwards, of the centre forwards, Kane is the only world class one right now.
But
like Tony and Watkins are like high Premier League quality centre forwards, but they're not world class just yet. And it'd be interesting to see if we have a forward who steps up to become world class out of the group that we've got, sort of coming through behind Kane.
I feel like Tony has a better touch than Ollie Watkins. Ollie Watkins might have more pace, but Ollie Watkins is being taught this season and the last few seasons, but especially this season by Emery. Like, he's being taught the qualities that Tony has. You know what I mean? And that's what he's added to his game to help him get the goals plus his pace.
Yeah.
But
I think the thing working against them, though, is that let's say they are, time is kind of against them, though, because they're both 28. So when Kane does stop, they're both going to be in their 30s. Yeah, they're not kids coming through behind him. How old's Solanke as well?
I feel like Solanke might be the same age.
26. So he's got a bit more time, a little bit more time on his hands. I think Wilson's like 30. So it's yeah. Let me have a look in the under 21 squad and just see who's the one we need to look out for there, because I kind of feel like there's no one. Yeah, looking at that squad, there's no like out and out number 9 that's doing it at a high level right now from that under 21 squad. The under 21 squad is good. There's some real talents in there, but like the centre forwards, like most of the ones on there are wingers, like Illing Jr. at Juve and Madueke at Chelsea, Philogene at Hull. There's Morgan Rogers from Villa, but he's not really done much yet. Jay Stansfield from Birmingham City is a centre forward. He's on loan from Fulham, but again, he's in the Championship right now. Bino Gittins at Dortmund. Yeah, it's hard to see who England's next like great number 9 is going to be, like from a youth perspective at the moment. So that's an interesting one.
Yeah, we'll see. Who would you pick for your team if you had to buy a striker and Ollie Watkins and Tony were on sale and you needed one of them? Who would you buy?
It's a tough one, but I'd probably, at a push, I would just go with Tony.
Yeah.
At a push. Just because I feel like his all-round game is a bit more valuable. But depending on the type of team I had, if I wanted to play counter-attack football, I'd probably take Watkins.
Yeah. I'd go Tony too.
Yeah.
I'd go Tony too. All right. That's it. We did it. It's international break. We get to sit on this win, and it's perfect. Like, we really get to milk this win for the next whatever amount of weeks, this win deserves the time and the love that it's going to get until our next Premier League game, because it was a banger. And so let's celebrate this banger. Again, anything you want to plug?
That's Lee Hudson Comedy on Instagram. Coming out to the US in April. I'm going to be in New York for a few days and then Austin for a week. So I'll post about shows up on my Instagram. I've got a couple of spots booked in New York. So I'll post about those if anyone wants to come out on the East Coast and see me. But yeah, I'll be there in Austin in April. If there's anyone listening in Scotland, I'm at the Glasgow International Comedy Festival on Saturday, the 30th of March. It's a cool festival. I'm doing my hour there, so if anyone's listening in Glasgow, again, on my Instagram, details are there.
If there's anyone listening, there's at least 5 people listening, man. Have some faith.
If they're listening in Glasgow, come out to the show, because I'm worried about going to Glasgow though.
Well,
Yeah, because it's a crazy city for football rivalry. Obviously, Rangers and Celtic are, the rivalry is one of the biggest in football. Goes way beyond football, and to the point where like Rangers play in blue and Celtic play in green and white. And certain companies who have those colours, they get rid of their company colours in that city because fans won't shop there.
Oh shit!
Like Rangers fans won't shop if a shop has a green logo. I don't think, because they don't want to go there, and the other way around for Celtic not want to go somewhere with blue. And I drive a car right now that is bright blue, so I might need to borrow someone else's car to drive up there.
I didn't know they were that touchy. Jesus Christ. I'm on Instagram at Ian Edwards Comic. I'm also on Twitter at Ian Edwards Comic, and also on Threads at Ian Edwards Comic. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. This has been a fun one. I'm about to celebrate this win for the next 2 weeks. Sorry if you lost, but man, what an impressive win. Peace.